Hello, welcome back. What a glorious day to start off with some planting. I have 3 more fruit bushes that I want to get in this fruit cage, and I'm really excited. They're new things for me to grow. I have a jostaberry, an American cranberry and an aronia berry. These all grow fairly big, so I need them to be on the sort of outside edges so they don't shade any more plants in here. And now we're getting the heat from the sun during the daytime. It is the perfect opportunity to get these bare root bushes in the ground before they wake up. The first thing I need to do is actually take my coat off. I might have just one too many layers on at the moment. I'm not taking the hat off yet though, because there is a bit of a cool breeze. Now in the centre of this back bed here, I do already have some autumn fruiting raspberry canes. They're all autumn bliss. But as you can see, I did leave room towards the end to plant something else. I'm going to put the cranberry bush here because cranberries like ericaceous compost, so it will be next to the blueberries. And I do have another bag of the ericaceous compost to put around it. Now I've made this hole a bit bigger than I need it to be, just so that I can put this ericaceous compost in there. Also going to add a scoop of fish blood and bone. This variety is called Pilgrim. Just having a look for any bugs in the soil. I'll just put a bit more compost around it. And then I'll just take the ties off it so it can breathe. Next to plant is the jostaberry. Now I know it's looking very dry, but it has been soaking for 24 hours in a water trough. And these do take up quite a lot of space. So I'm not going to be planting it in the corner of the bed. In fact, I'm not going to be planting anything in the corner of the bed. I'm going to be planting it here, which means I can train the front stems not to stick into the path too much, but it has a little bit of room to spread and to become a bit taller. A bit more fish blood and bone. Jostaberry is described as the perfect mix of a blackcurrant and a gooseberry, and I like both of those things, so I am really looking forward to this. Now the last thing I'm going to get in the ground is the aronia berry. Now these can also grow quite big, but they are quite slow growing, so I'm going to chance it here at the front of the bed and see if I can keep this pruned quite short but let it spread. I don't mind it about 4 foot high, but I don't really want it any taller than that. Tease the roots loose a bit. And this variety is called Viking. I'm really keen to add an aronia berry because they are supposed to be one of the best fruits out there in terms of the antioxidants they give, even better than blueberries. So this is a really exciting addition to the garden. Really pleased to get those bushes in the ground, and if I come back across these centre beds, you can see that I have now sorted out the strawberry beds. I had to take all of the strawberries out of this first bed here, raise the level of the compost up, sort them out and replant them. And then on this end bed here, I have planted some everbearers called Sweet Summer. And I'm getting really excited for spring now. You can see that all of the blueberries have got buds on now. So they have happily survived winter. Now before the end of the month, I will make sure that that mesh gets put back on the fruit cage. So if you've taken mesh off your fruit cages, it will be time to start thinking about when you're going to get that back on, ready for when we get the blossoms and obviously the fruits being set. Next job on my list today is to sort out these Swedes. I really need to get these beds emptied now and prepped ready for the new season. And there's no reason to be keeping these out here any longer. Ooh. There's a few little slug nibbles on it, which serves me right because I've left them out here so long, but it's not a bad Swede still. Now I've got these out of the ground over the next few days, I can sort out this bed. Now on Instagram the other day, I saw someone talking about the fact that they'd forgotten to harvest their remaining parsnips. And I suddenly thought to myself, did I? And actually, now I walk to the parsnip bed, I can see that some are trying to grow again. So it's clearly evident. I haven't harvested all of these parsnips. I don't know whether it's any detriment to them to still be left in the ground. I think we better have a look. It looks like there's going to be a big harvest here. Oh, wow. Oh, look at them. Oh. Oh, my life. Oh, he's hard work too. Wow. No, there's no canker on them either. They look amazing. Oh. Can you believe I forgot that I had this many parsnips still in the ground? Absolutely unbelievable. They're huge and there's not a bit of canker on them. Absolutely brilliant. And out of all of the parsnips I've grown, that's the only one that's forked. Amazing. And if I turn my attention to the bed next door, this has a few radishes in. Now I left these because actually the frost got to the radishes and I didn't think that they'd be any good, but I thought maybe pigeons or something might peck at them. But they've left them alone, and in actual fact, these ones here, they're absolutely fine. Wow, look at the size of that. I've never grown a radish that big before. And that's been in the ground all over winter. Another surprise harvest. Now something else that I want to harvest are some of these mustard greens in here because I absolutely love them. Now some of these leaves are actually a little bit too big. I'm terrible for not eating them because I just think the leaves are so pretty that I leave them and I let them get too big. But I'm going to harvest quite a few today. This one is my favourite, and I'm afraid I'm not sure of the individual names because they were just in a mixed selection pack labelled as Oriental mustards. I think that's enough for today. I will just pick some of this rocket as well. Which is looking amazing. And I've had a few picks of this and it soon grows back again. And while we're in here, just look at this purple sprouting broccoli. Look how well it's doing. So pleased with it. And if I have a look right inside here, I think I can see the first florets forming. Wow. I think I can take some leaves from this red salad bowl lettuce. So vibrant. Now these leeks aren't as big as they could be yet, but I would really like to take a few in with me. So I'm going to try and choose a couple of the bigger ones. Oh, there's one. I think I'm going to try and take this one here as well, which means the little one next to it will have to come out. I don't want to break it. Oh, that one's better. And obviously it's got that one attached to it. Oh, pleased with those. So the leeks that I've just picked are Musselburgh leeks, but if I come across to this side of the bed, these are the Northern Lights. And since we've been having some heavy frosts, the colours on these have just been out of this world. Such striking foliage. Deep purple on this side, just a normal green on the other side though. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to grow these again because they are just so beautiful. Now the eagle-eyes amongst you might be thinking I've had yet another new barrow, but I haven't. If you've ever watched Only Fools and Horses, she has become Trigger's broom because Duncan found a top to the barrow on the internet. It was £26 and he just bought the top and he has fitted it onto the wheelbarrow frame for me. My favourite barrow gets to live again and it's still pink. I'm so happy. It's a bit wet, the manure is, so hopefully the sun we're having for the next few days will dry it out a little bit so that it crumbles a bit better. I finally admitted defeat and I'm too hot, so I've put a cap on. One of the other jobs that I'm a little bit behind on is doing the winter pruning. These stems here are cardoon stems from last year and they do really need to be cut down, but I actually can't cut through them with my shears. Just cannot have enough strength. They're just too hard. I can't cut through them. But Pronabo reached out to me by email recently and asked if I would like to test their electric secateurs, the PRE50. They're supposed to cut up to 50mm stems and I thought they sound really, really useful. So I said yes. And here they are. I thought anybody with a weak grip, I have a particularly weak grip, might find these quite useful. Little push button to open, double click the trigger, and you can see that's the mechanism. And watch your fingers, obviously, but these are going to make light work of these stems. The only thing you have to worry about is getting too trigger happy. It might look like it jolts me, but there's no pressure at all. I mean, look at that, straight off. They are an absolutely brilliant piece of kit, but this isn't all it can do because it comes with this extension pole as well and a second battery. So there's already a battery on the bottom of this extension pole. It slots on, there's a little locking clip there, and you operate it from the trigger at the bottom. You do have to hold the trigger down for a few seconds to engage it. Now the head on it is also adjustable, which is pretty handy. And if you're at all sceptical about just how thick a branch it can cut, well, you've just watched me cut this little piece off. Now look how thick that is in the jaws. And if you want to cut something even higher in the tree, then this extension pole is indeed telescopic. You can just buy the pruner on their own and it comes with 2 batteries, but I was sent the complete kit, which means I did get the extension pole as well, a safety strap for the pole, I still got the 2 batteries, and they even supply you with a spare blade and a blade sharpener. If you're watching from the United States and you are interested in buying the PRE50, you can buy it direct from Pronabo, and they've given me a 10% discount voucher to offer to you. Now, if you're in the UK like me, unfortunately Pronabo don't ship it internationally, so we can't buy it direct using the voucher, but it is available to buy on Amazon, and I will put the link in the description. Now the next thing I want to get done is plant some early potatoes. Now I know in my last video I said that I didn't do this until St. Patrick's Day, but we're having such a run of really nice weather and it's supposed to be fairly warm in the day next week as well, with not particularly low temperatures overnight, just maybe the odd slight touch of frost, that I think we'll be okay to have some potatoes started even earlier this year in the greenhouses. So I've got some compost here that I'm just mixing some fish blood and bone pellets into, I've already put some manure in the bottom of these tubs as well. Now the variety that I've chosen to plant in here are Red Duke of York. They are a first early. So I'm just going to put 4 in, 2 at the bottom, a little bit more on top. And then I'll plant the other 2 in the other way. So 2 this way. And the other 2 in the opposite direction there. And now I'll just keep them in the greenhouse until it's warm enough to bring them outside. And now they're in here, I will just give them a water. I didn't want to water them before I carried them in here because that would have made them heavier. It seems 5 minutes ago that I was doing that this time last year. I thought, seeing as I have some spare parsnips, that I would try the horses with some of the smaller ones. Good girl, Tilly. Pablo's not going to get any if he's not quick. Good lad. Do you want one too? Good boy. It's a treat for you. I know you lost some teeth last year, but can you still chew it? Good lad. Look after yourselves. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.